She vanished without a trace. No call. No text. Not even a flimsy excuse to cling to. 5 endless days dragged by like a storm without an end. And then, as though nothing had happened, she walked back in. She strolled through the front door with a casual smile, as if she'd only stepped outside for a breath of air. No apology. No explanation. Just an expectation that life would resume exactly where she'd left it. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't demand answers. Instead, I gave her something she would never forget. For 4 years, we had been together. Long enough for me to believe I knew every shade of her. The way she laughed at her own awkwardness, the way she slipped her cold feet under the blanket at night, pressing them against me until I groaned, the faint scar running along her eyebrow she always joked about from childhood. Those little details had made her feel like home to me. But even a house that looks solid from the outside can be rotting inside. It didn't collapse overnight. It began in silence. A sharp sound cut off the moment I entered a room. A call answered in a whisper behind a locked bathroom door. A new perfume she swore was just a free sample. I saw the fractures. I just refused to believe them. Not until she looked me in the eye one evening and said she needed time alone, that her mind was too crowded, that she needed space. I asked if she was all right. She nodded, smiled faintly, and left. On the first day, I told myself she must be with relatives. On the second, I kept calling and texting, no reply. By the third, my worry thickened into something darker. Sleep abandoned me. My thoughts spun out of control. Accident, trouble, or betrayal. My gut whispered the answer I didn't want to face. She wasn't lost. She was exactly where she wanted to be, with someone else. By the 5th day, the pleading, the panic, the pacing had all burned away. Something inside me turned to stone. I opened our wedding album, not for nostalgia, but to remind myself that what we once had was real. I tore apart the framed picture that hung beneath the oak tree. It didn't hurt. It felt like cleansing. Then I started packing, not my belongings, but hers. Every dress, every pair of shoes, every trace of her life in my home folded neatly into a suitcase. I set it by the door like an offering she no longer deserved. I went to the little red box where she kept every love letter I had written her. I emptied it, leaving behind only a single slip of paper. She returned after midnight, stepping into the living room with a careless "hey," as if 5 days of silence could be erased with one word. But when her eyes landed on the suitcase by the door, her expression shifted. "What's this?" she asked. I handed her the note. Her fingers trembled before she even unfolded it. Her eyes scanned the words, and her face slowly unraveled as she read. It was simple. "Don't ask where I've been. Ask what I now know." Her lips parted, maybe to beg, maybe to justify, maybe to spin another story, but I didn't wait. I stood and walked past her, calm, steady. I didn't need her explanations. I already had the truth. Because on the 3rd day, I had followed her. I found the hotel. I saw the man. I watched her smiling at him the way she once smiled only at me. I didn't confront them. I didn't interrupt. I let her believe she was safe, untouched by consequence. Silence, when you already know the truth, is the sharpest blade you can carry. When she finally spoke, it spilled out as excuses. I was confused. I needed closure. It meant nothing. But 5 nights in someone else's arms cannot be erased by 5 seconds of regret. I stayed composed. No shouting. No insults. Just the truth, delivered plainly. This house is still mine. My peace is still mine. You chose to give up your place in both for nothing but fleeting moments you'll never speak of with pride. Then I shut the door behind me. She thought she was coming back to the same man, the one who loved her enough to forgive anything. But that man was gone. She made her choice, and I made mine. She expected to return to a life untouched. Instead, she came home to her bags at the door, her lies exposed, and a man who had finally remembered his worth. That night was the last time I ever saw her.